This week on the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast.
But first, what do you remember about Jaws 2?
I remember it upholding my fear of sharks. That Jaws,
sliding?
The first one.
Okay, so let's take a look at the taglines. All new.
But I also remember, sharks in the water always scares me.
I think sharks in the water scare everybody.
Mm.
I think that's safe to say. 38? Like, fuck you people. Like, what do we have to do? How many children have to be eaten for you to be entertained?
Not enough children got eaten.
The critics give it an average of 61%.
That's not bad.
The audience is not so forgiving. So let's take a look at Jaws 2 poster. I remember this poster. This poster is very, I think, iconic.
Yeah, I love that poster.
So after seeing the trailer, what do you think?
I think I'm going to like it just as much as I did before.
I
really liked it.
I do too. And so I'm still bewildered at the scores.
Lights, camera, and action. Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Remember those childhood movies you loved? We're going to watch them again and find out if they're still as amazing as you remember. Let's get ready to join Anna and Jimmy as they go back and watch those movies you remember being oh so awesomely good. Horror movies that scared. Comedy movies that dared. Damn! And action movies so preposterously ludicrous that they defied the laws of common sense. Now, here's your hosts, Anna Santos and Jimmy Coates.
Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast, where today we are going back to 1978. The 70s were awesome. Like that 70s show taught us, the 70s were fun. It also taught us not to date Danny Masterson.
Oh, God, yeah.
Allegedly, don't date.
Allegedly, don't be in the same room with him, apparently.
Yeah.
Or, part of the same alleged cult. Allegedly.
So, June 16th, 1978. Theatrically, Jaws 2 had a sneak preview at 31 theaters across the United States on June 2nd in 1978, including at Low State 2 in New York City, before opening on June 16th everywhere. Well, not everywhere. In the 70s, they didn't have 4,000 theaters. But that's first, what do you remember about Jaws 2?
I remember it upholding my fear of sharks. That Jaws, sliding? The first one.
Was it starting to come down a bit?
A little bit. Because I was like, I could remind myself that Jaws was a fictional movie. I swim in freshwater lakes. Like, this is not a concern. But then I would spend the occasional summer in Portugal. And I was always convinced, hold on, there's two parts of the story. I was always convinced I was going to get eaten by a shark. So I didn't go out that far. And two, I used to have this fear, and it's still kind of there a little bit. In pools, when you're in the shallow end and you're looking towards the deep end?
Yep.
Yeah, I would always have a very vivid image of a shark coming at me from the deep end. Water. This is why, thank you for that. This is why I only got my dolphin certification at the Y. Thank you. Because I was like, I don't need to swim in pools and shit. Fuck this. I'm a decent swimmer, but I'm like, no. So this upheld it. And also, I remember being very indignant for Roy Scheider, because I was like, the man knows about sharks. Why don't y'all want to believe him? I remember that emotion. But I also remember, sharks in the water always scares me.
I think sharks in the water scare everybody. I think that's safe to say.
And there's nothing worse than watching someone get attacked by well, actually, no, there's lots of things that are probably worse, but it's
Yeah, like
terrifying to watch, and there's a lot of it was a very suspenseful movie for me. That's what I remember for it. Don't ask me about plot points.
I saw
Like,
Jaws 2 before Jaws
oh.
1. Back then, I preferred Jaws 2 over Jaws. I
Mm,
don't now, but someone in our family that we visit regularly had Jaws 2. I
yeah.
don't know if it was VHS or Laserdisc or whatever it was. And I mean, I have seen Jaws more recently than Jaws 2. Like I haven't seen Jaws 2 in a very long time, like maybe early 90s, maybe.
I think for
And
me, it was mid or late 90s.
yeah, and I remember it being extremely terrifying because there was kids. I remember they were trapped in the
Mhm.
ocean being terrorized by the shark. I remember it being more violent, scarier, and action oriented. I could watch this and like when I was a kid, Jaws 1 was kind of boring to me. Like when I was a little kid.
I can
Jaws 2,
understand
I
that.
remember being a lot more exciting, a lot more scarier. Where now Jaws 1 is almost perfect. I remember it being it's an almost perfect movie. Like it's a wonderful, wonderful movie. But as a kid, I didn't care about the story. I wanted to
Yeah.
see the Jaws and Jaws 2. I remember it delivering that.
Yeah. I remember feeling very, like, edge of my seat while watching Jaws 2. Didn't feel that way about Jaws the first, I don't know, 20 times I watched it,
Yeah.
because I would suffer through the story build to get to the shark attacking,
Yeah.
and so I was like, "Okay, yeah, sure." Now as an adult, I can watch Jaws and be like, "Fantastic filmmaking."
Yeah.
At the time, I didn't know,
No, same.
but I
Yeah.
remember this one definitely being I feeling much more on edge while watching this movie.
Yes.
And I remember that, and it was, like, a great and I remember enjoying that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
I
it
remember this
dive
one
right
being
in.
stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you spend a lot of time going, "Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god," then hoping everybody comes out alive. P.S. They do not.
Now, Jaws was released on June 20th, 1975, and it invented the summer blockbuster.
Mhm.
So, Jaws 2 being released in the same time frame was a few years later. It was just following that blueprint, and with a budget of 20 million in 1978, that ballooned to 30 million,
Dang.
and was up to that point Universal's most expensive movie.
Yeah. That's a lot.
Yeah. But it opened to a gross of 9.866 million in 640 theaters across the United States and Canada, ranking first and giving it the highest grossing opening weekend of all time up to that point,
Impressive.
as as well as a single day record of 3.5, despite opening on the same day as Greece.
That movie I saw, like, a month ago.
Which Greece actually grossed 9 million the same weekend, which
Oh.
was greater than any film released prior to that weekend as well. It was the first time that there had been two day and date releases grossing that high amount of money. And the opening weekend led to and set a record
Mhm.
of a total of 16.6 million. Jaws went on to gross 77.7 million during its initial release, making it the number 6 highest grossing movie of 78. Grease would go on to continue make money after Jaws 2 and make $159.9 million, being the number 1 movie of 1978.
Makes sense.
Jaws 2 eventually surpassed 100 million with its reissue and ultimately earning 102.9 million and 208 worldwide, despite grossing less than half of its predecessor. But it became the highest grossing sequel in history again up to that point.
Mhm.
And I have no info or stats of the top 10 or the theater in 1978. Okay, so let's stop it and we can do the tail of the tape. Or
Love that. Still terrifying, but love it.
So, Jaws 2 is considered a mystery thriller horror. Now, I don't know about the mystery. There's no fucking mystery here. It's a fucking great white shark. If halfway through your movie you're wondering who's doing all the killing, you're an idiot.
But not everybody in the movie believes the shark is like, isn't it like people disappear or they're like, where did they go? And everybody, like Roy Schneider is like, it's a shark, and everybody's like, no, it's not. Shh,
Yeah, this guy and his
Boris
fucking
just came
sharks
back.
again.
So I mean, like that's like I remember that part where
Crazy
like
old Roy. His
yeah,
fucking
he says
crying
something
shark.
very emotional, and everybody's like, "Are you sure you're okay?"
It is rated PG, and it comes in at a meaty 1 hour and 58 minutes.
Dang.
So it's got a heft to it.
Yeah.
Now, we will go to. Dun, dun, dun. This is where it kind of gets weird. Rotten Tomatoes. Okay, the critic consensus is Jaws 2 never approaches the lingering thrills of its classic predecessor, but it's reasonably entertaining for a sequel that has no reason to exist. So, out of 33 reviews, it gives the critics give it an average of 61%.
That's not bad.
No, that's pretty for Rotten
For
Tomatoes.
critics,
That's not
pretty
bad.
high.
Yeah, that's pretty high. The audience is not so forgiving. 250,000 plus audience scores give it an average of 38%.
Ouch.
Yeah.
That. Oh.
So I'm kind of confused.
Mhm.
But anyway, so we'll go with the fresh.
Yeah.
Jaws 2 is a superb slasher movie.
Understandable. Yeah. Yeah.
Jaws 2 manages to entertain and scare. At the end of the day, isn't that what it's all about?
That is correct.
There was reason to believe that Jaws 2 would be a mess. It isn't. It's better than most sequels. It's formula ridden but slick, and the special effects work as intended. IGN Movie said, far from a classic, but a worthy follow-up. Empire Magazine, it never comes close to the classic status of its predecessor, but for drive-in horror thrills, this still has sufficient bite. A vastly underrated sequel with plenty of shocks and nail-biting tension. Not quite up to the original, but still loads of fun. Now for the rotten. Common Sense Media, an unnecessary sequel that has less plot, more peril, and violence. That kind of sounds like a fresh rating to me.
That sounds good.
More peril, more violence. Nowhere near as good as the first and lacks the trace of true stupidity that makes the latter two fun bad movies. Suspension of disbelief might have been possible had this been a ripping good yarn, but the kids are just plain silly, and it's a toss-up to decide which is more unconvincing, the shark or Schneider. Roy Schneider's the only redeeming quality of this sequel. So...
Interesting.
Yeah. The one that got me, though, was such a low audience.
Yeah. Well, I guess if you watched the original Jaws.
Maybe that's why. And yeah, it just doesn't
And then you
compare.
watch Jaws 2 immediately afterwards.
Yeah.
Like as an adult, there is no comparison.
Now, IMDb has 80,000 users giving it an average of 5.8 out of 10. And for a horror movie, because this is a horror movie, a monster movie, creature feature. And that kind of plays into it a bit. That seems about right overall. But 38%, I'm like, damn.
Yeah, that's like my heart tells me that's too low, but my mind can't answer if that's valid because I don't remember the majority of this movie.
No, and for what I can remember, it had very decent effects from the 70s.
Yeah.
And about a shark stalking and eating kids, 38? Like, fuck you people. Like, what do we have to do? How many children
Tell
have
us
to be
how you
eaten
really
for
feel.
you to be entertained? We wanted to see 30 kids get eaten, and I would have gave it a 50.
Not enough children got eaten.
No. So let's take a look at Jaws 2 poster. I remember this poster. This poster is very, I think, iconic.
Yeah.
And
I love that poster.
yeah. Yeah, I think I like that better than the first movie's poster. I maybe not.
I don't think better. I think that's
It's
good
just
poster.
as good. It's a good poster. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a good poster. Okay, so let's take a look at the taglines. All new. It's not the same Jaws. If you're wondering if this is the movie that you saw back in 75, it is not.
It's not a remastering of the original.
No, it's all new. All new foot. We didn't use any footage from the first
There's a whole
movie
new
at
shark
all.
too. Whole new shark.
Yeah, this shark works. This is why it didn't take as long to film. Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water.
That's the tagline I remember.
And that's the one that's actually on the poster. And that's a great tagline.
So good.
One good bite deserves another for the
No.
1980 re-release.
That's a shitty tagline.
I agree. Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water, that was spectacular. That's probably one of the best sequel taglines, if not the best.
It's just a good, like, not even for sequels, just a good tagline in general.
Yeah.
Because it basically tells you the plot of the movie in those like few words. They're like, just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know.
That, the water skier, and the giant shark coming out of the water after her. Yeah.
That's the entire movie.
Sums
right
it
there.
up.
But it's true because the basic plot of the movie is the town wants to move on.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken. And forget about the previous shark attack.
Yeah.
Roy's the only crazy guy going around being like, there's still a shark.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, I think you're sick in the head. And then people start dying.
They should have made one too, where before Roy Schneider died, where he's just this crazy old guy just screaming at people at a beach. But there's a shark.
Have you seen Jaws 3?
Yes, I have saw Jaws 3. And Jaws 4. We'll get to that actually in just a second.
Did I say 4? Anyways, okay, go. Sorry.
The synopsis. Years after the shark attacks that left Amity Island reeling, Sheriff Martin Brody, Roy Schneider, finds new troubling lurking in the waters. Mayor Vaughn, Murray Hamilton, I believe this is the same guy, wants to rid the beach town of the stain on its reputation. But the disappearance of a pair of divers suggests that all is not right. When Sheriff Brody voices his warnings about holding a sailing competition, everyone thinks it's post-traumatic stress. That is, until a shark fin cuts through the water.
Well, I'm glad I remembered that correctly-ish.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Yeah, so let me just grab the trailer. There it is. Let's watch it.
Jaws 2. The terror continues. In all the vast and unknown depths of the ocean, how could there have been only one?
Chief Brody, can we go, please?
I think we may have another shark problem. Are you serious?
Roy Scheider.
The whole beach looks incredible.
Lorraine Gary. And Murray Hamilton.
Look at this. That's a shark.
Look, Brody, you started a panic on a public beach.
Now, what if somebody decides to sue us? That's a shark. Did you ever stop to think about that? And I know what a shark looks like because I've seen one up close. And you better do something about this one because I don't intend to go through that hell again. Don't press it this time.
Mike is out there.
None of man's fantasies of evil can compare with the reality.
feel a little nauseous after watching that. I'm
Well,
also
looks
reconsidering my plan to retire on a cruise ship.
well, you don't have to go swimming when you're off the cruise ship.
I know, but sometimes I think I'm gonna get pushed off of it because I have that kind of personality. Someone's gonna push me off, and then I'm gonna get eaten by a shark. It's gonna be a whole thing.
So after seeing the trailer, what do you think?
I think I'm gonna like it just as much as I did before,
I
and I
do,
really liked it.
I do too, and so I'm still bewildered at the scores. Like I don't know if I'm
Yeah.
missing something, but I still think I'm gonna like it.
I think I'm gonna spend half of it very nervous and very uncomfortable with a little pit in my stomach. Um, but honestly, I think I'm gonna like it.
Yeah, and the only thing is after so many years, there have been a lot of great shark movies, like
Mm,
even the B movies, shark movies that come out. I'm not talking about Sharknado. I'm talking about like Shark Bait, The Shallows, that 47 meters down, those type
mm.
of movies. I love those movies.
I can't
Uh,
bring myself to watch 47 meters down. It terrifies me, but I have watched The Shallows, and I was like, oh God, spent that entire movie nauseous.
yeah, and actually the sequel to 47 meters down, fantastic. It's another great one. And there was another one, a 3D one, where these kids go to hang out at someone's house and these
Mhm.
sharks get loose in the river, the Salt Lake Water River. It was in the 2000s.
Wait, I think I
Shark
know which one
Night?
it is.
Shark Night?
Yeah, I think it is Shark Night. I love that movie.
Yeah, and it's a B movie. I love shark
So
movies.
cheese, but it's so good.
Yeah.
Also, when the Meg came out, I was
Oh,
like,
I love the Meg.
I love the Meg.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
So I'm
yes.
wondering if watching those movies, going to watch a 1978 movie might, I don't know. That's the only thing I can see kind of bringing it down a bit. But as we were talking, you asked before, but as a kid, I loved Jaws 3, Jaws 3D with Dennis
Mhm.
Quaid and Meg Ryan. That's right. People probably forgot that Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan,
I forgot Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan were
they
in
were
it.
in that movie. And we talked about 1987. Me and my friends loved Jaws 4, Jaws the
Mm.
Revenge, which looking back is preposterous
Oh God, so
because
much.
the shark growled underwater like a fucking Bengal tiger. Like it didn't have the glub glub effect of people talking about it, just growled and then pounced on Mary Van Peebles. So what do I
I
know?
did not watch Jaws 4
Oh, we
until
have to watch
literally
it.
no, like
Oh,
2
okay.
years ago. 2 years ago, I watched
Okay.
it.
With
And
Michael
I
Caine.
literally spent the entire thing. Yeah, it was probably about 2 years ago because it was during the pandemic, and I watched fascinated,
Yeah,
and I
how
was
bad it
like,
was.
"They paid money to make this. This is terrible." And then I texted my brother-in-law, and I'm like, "Jaws 4, why didn't you tell me about this?" And he's like, "You haven't seen it before?" And I was like, "No, this is I don't even know what to say this is." He's like, "Yeah, no, it's something."
So bad Michael Caine didn't even go to the premiere, didn't even has never watched it to this day. And he said that he knew it was going he took the job. He like he said, he has to pay bills. He has to
Yeah.
he goes, but I knew it was gonna be bad.
Oh, 100%. It was like, how do you read that script and think to yourself, "This is gonna be good"?
And
You
it's got a
can't.
good cast.
And no, it's got a great cast.
It's got her, the mother, the actual mother from
Yeah.
Jaws 1 and Jaws 2 in it. And Mary Van Peebles and Michael Caine. And yeah, so I'm not looking for award winning or anything. I want a
No.
shark that looks real. I want some tension, like people falling in the water and the fin
Yep.
popping out like 50 meters away. I want to eat some kids. Of all the ways to bite it, being in the ocean and seeing that fin pop out of the water and heading
Terrifying.
towards you, I couldn't imagine a more terrifying feeling.
Yeah, no. No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Nope. Nope.
Like
Nuh-uh.
it's that and being in the woods and a bear charging you or hiking in the jungle and a lion charging you or a tiger.
I'm fine with the lions and tigers and bears. No problem.
But see, I think the
Shark?
shark would
Fuck
eat
it.
you a lot quicker.
No. But a shark will like tear off your limb and let you bleed out in the water.
Yeah, and just not want because they say once they find their teeth hit the bones and stuff, they're like, oh,
Yeah.
you're not chubby enough. Like you're
They
not a
they don't
seal.
they don't care.
And then
They're
you're
like,
like,
"I'm gonna take a
thanks.
bite out of you, and then we're
Thanks for not
good."
killing me.
So that's what terrifies me though, because I'm like, if a lion comes at me, it's gonna rip my throat out. Tiger, same thing.
If you're lucky.
Bear is gonna disembowel me. But they're going in for the kill because they want to eat me,
Yes.
and they will eat all of me. Like they're not sharks it's like they're going to a cocktail party and they're like, I'm gonna take a little appetizer here, a little moose bouche here, and they're just like taking nibbles. No,
Yeah.
nope, nope, fuck the sharks. Nope.
Well, see, they might drag you off. Like any of those giant kitties, like if they charge you, like you stick your throat out. Like you don't try blocking it. Just
Mm.
step forward, head as high as you can get it, and let it just go right for your jugular. It's over in seconds. But yeah, in the ocean, and what are you gonna do? Swim away?
They come up from behind you or underneath you,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then you're just left floating in the ocean
But I mean,
because
if they're
it takes forever to swim with one arm.
yeah, thanks, shark.
Yeah.
Now it's gonna take me twice as long, and I'm gonna go around in a circle. Um, but yeah, if it'd be worth seeing that fucking fin coming out of the water.
Because you know it's coming.
Yeah, like and yeah, instinctively you would try to swim away, but you aren't out swimming. Like you aren't out swimming a goldfish, let alone a 20-foot long,
Yeah, no, you're
4-ton
fucked.
eating machine. Oh, I just
You're
creeped
straight
myself out.
fucked.
But now I'm excited. Expectations are high.
Well, they're higher than they would be for most, but I'm like, I'm expecting a good solid, like, I expect to finish watching Jaws 2 and be like, huh, why am I not watching that more often?
Yeah, yeah. I think it's kind of like it kind of gets pushed off to the side because it's not as cheesy as Jaws 3D. It's not as
Yeah.
horrible as Jaws the Revenge,
Yeah.
and it's not as critically acclaimed as Jaws. So I think it's kind of like the forgotten stepchild or the
Yeah, I
middle
can see
child.
that.
The middle child. Where it's like, look at me, I'm killing all these children. Come watch me. I kill more than any other movie did.
Look at me kill all the children.
Although I think Jaws 3D takes place in a water park
I think it
where
doesn't.
people go. Yeah, I think so. Because I remember that underwater tunnel where everyone
Oh,
walks through to see the fish, and then they see the Jaws.
that
I'm sure
sounds super familiar.
we will definitely Jaws 3 will pop up on our radar eventually.
Yeah, probably.
I remember liking it. I don't think it's as good as I remember.
I don't think it's as good as you remember either.
But I think Jaws 2 is.
God, I hope so.
All right, so just before we go, let's go watch Jaws 2.
You heard them. Movie time. Let's all go to the lobby and get ourselves a treat, and then watch a classic kick-ass movie from whenever the one we're about to watch was made.
And now, on with the show.
All right. Welcome back to I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. We have just watched initial thoughts.
It was okay. It was all right. So bad.
I didn't hate the movie, but again, fuck, I didn't love it either as much as I did as a kid.
This is gonna sound terrible. I remember it being way more suspenseful. I did not feel I had moments of apprehension, but no suspense.
Yeah.
I was like,
And at times the shark didn't look so good.
I was okay.
Sometimes it looked
There were
like a
some scenes.
puppet.
Yeah, there were some scenes I was like, you literally just painted some cardboard. Like, come on, guys.
I blame newer shark movies, like starting with Deep Blue Sea, The Shallows, 47 Meters, The Meg, Shark Night,
Mm.
like because some of it looked really dated. And I know it's 1978, but it's starting to starting to look.
I expected dated,
Yeah,
but there and 90% of the time for the shark scenes in this movie, they shot it in a way that you only got flashes of the faux shark.
yeah,
So it never had the time or the angle to look fake. It looked kinda sharky. So I
yeah,
was like, "Okay," but it would go so by either so fast or the angle in frame was a little bit different. So I was like, "Okay, like, I get it." But also, there were times where I was like, "It looks like you sewed a button on the shark to make its eye." Like,
yeah,
guys, you 1978, they definitely could have done better.
yeah.
It's
Because
just
if
concerning.
memory serves me right, they did in 1975.
Yeah.
But okay, well, let's go over the movie.
Yeah.
Okay. While a new hotel opens on Amity Island, a 25-foot, that's 8 meters, great white shark kills two scuba divers photographing the wreckage of the Orca before heading into Amity waters. Those were
That
two
was awesome.
really, yeah, and they were quick.
Yep.
Like even by shark standards, they were pretty quick.
Yep.
Their camera, which took pictures during the attack, is recovered the next day. The shark then kills a female water skier. This plot kind of skims over a lot. So let's go back. This plot sucks. Chief Brody Schneider is off the island and returning back to Amity. He then rushes to a party. I think they're condos that are
No, I
being
think it's a
built.
little resort, like a beach resort,
Oh, a beach resort. Okay,
and it's Scheider.
Schneider. Yes, Schneider
I understand the
making hot
instinct,
dogs.
but it's not him.
We meet a bunch of the teens working the party. Coincidentally, all of these teens will be later trapped at sea with the shark.
Of course.
And can I ask how the fuck they got Napoleon Dynamite in this film? Did you see that kid?
Yes. Yes, I did.
Oh, like, that's Napoleon Dynamite. Um, we meet the mayor, same mayor. Like, how did he get reelected is beyond me.
Nobody knows.
No.
I personally think he ran unopposed.
Yeah. Or it was a hell of a campaign to beat that PR nightmare. Like, Jesus. Then we see the teens sailing a lot. This is my plot now. This is Wikipedia. So yeah, then we see some teens sailing over here and a shark over there. And the one girl tries to set Mike up with her cousin, who ends up being a hottie,
Mm,
Jackie, who is Donna Wilkes and went on to star in the cult classic Angel and none of the sequels. Uh, just a little tidbit. We get some more life on the island stuff, yada, yada, yada. The shark eats a water skier.
yes.
This scene I did like that fin popping out of the water while she's water skiing. That was great.
Yes. I would even say even it didn't look super authentic, but from the water skier to the boat driver, that entire right up to the explosion,
Yeah.
I was in it to win it. I was like, "This I like. This is good."
Yeah, because this is where the first was so superior to this one. Like with limited building and effects, less was so much smarter. Like you're right, this scene was good right up all the way to the explosion. But I get why the director wanted to show more shark. Like he even said he wanted more. Hold on, I got it here. Do do do. Although the first film was commended for leaving the shark to the imagination until two-thirds of the way through, I'm not even gonna attempt. Janelle Schwartz,
Janelle
Janelle
Svark?
Schwartz.
Svark.
The director felt that they should show it as much as possible because of the dramatic first image of it coming out of the water in the first film could never be repeated. He believed that the reduction of the first film's Hitchcockian suspense was inevitably because the audience already knew what the shark looked like. So he wanted more shark, more shark, more shark, more shark. And I think that was a mistake.
It was 100% a mistake because if your shark doesn't look like a real shark, don't show me your shark.
Yeah. Now they did hire, I did a bit of research. They did hire divers to shoot great whites in Australia. So those ones where you got underwater,
Yeah.
those were actually footage of actual sharks, and they used them a few times.
Mhm.
That looked great.
Yes.
The scene was right. The fin, the actual shark footage, and the shark attacking the boat wasn't bad.
Mhm.
And FYI, I would have probably set myself on fire too. If I was that quick to think of it. Like, what else you
She
can do? Smack it on its nose and
well,
say
she didn't do it
no?
on purpose.
Well, no, no, I meant she was trying to set
Yeah, she
the
was
shark
trying
on
to
fire.
yeah, and then she just kinda went up with it, but I
Yeah.
mean,
But I mean, there was really no other alternative to do anything. You're
none
not gonna
whatsoever.
swim. You're not gonna beat it up. You're not gonna
Nope.
shoo it away. Like she did the only thing I don't even know if I would have thought. I probably just would have gotten the fetal position and said my goodbyes.
Yeah, see, when I saw her, like, totally fighting back, I'm like, "I'd like to believe that I would fight back."
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, I probably would have been like, "Look, let me just get in the water for you. We'll make it a little bit
Yeah.
easier. I won't even struggle. It'll be fine."
I would have just stood there screaming. And people are like, a woman's in danger. And coming. That's how high pitched I would be.
That was fantastic, thank you.
The driver of the boat attempts self-defense. Okay, so we're back to the plot. They skipped
Okay.
over all that stuff. Self-defense by using a gas tank and a flare gun, but the boat explodes, killing her and severely burning the right side of the shark's face. Then a killer whale carcass is found on the beach. Police Chief Martin Brody believes that a shark is responsible.
Mhm.
Great scene. It would have been great if Richard Dreyfuss came back. But got some more info about sharks from the lady
Yeah.
that was, even though it is now known that great whites hightail it out of any area where there's a orca sensed or
Yes, well,
detected. Yeah.
we can also agree that this white shark does not have
Yeah,
any sort of sense.
no, he's a little different.
Yeah.
And it did look like a real orca. Like it actually looked like a,
No, it did. It was
I'm
small for a
wondering,
real orca, but
yeah,
I'm
it
like,
wasn't,
"Oh,
but yeah, I'm wondering if they, ugh.
are you about to say if they killed a real orca?"
The director wanted authenticity. So a
We
bunch of
can't have a
guys,
shark, get me a whale.
yeah. So a bunch of gaffers went out and tried to harpoon a whale. Brody explains his concerns to Mayor Larry Vaughn, who expresses doubts that the town has another shark problem. Brody then finds floating debris from the destroyed speedboat and the boat driver's burnt remains. Brody calls Matt Hooper for assistance. That's Richard Dreyfuss' character, but he is in Antarctica on a research expedition. Then Brody prohibits his 17-year-old son Mike from boating out of concern for his safety. Instead, lands him a job on the beach as a show of community service. Um, and then you also see Chief Brody around this time making those cyanide tip bullets.
Yeah.
I don't know if they would really work on a shark. Maybe.
Honestly, I was watching and I was like, "Are we trying to give someone a heart attack while
Yeah,
shooting them? I don't understand." And then I was like, "Is that for the shark? The big giant shark
yeah. I don't
that
know if it
eats
would.
people?"
Yeah, might laugh at you.
Yeah, I was like, "I don't know how effective that'll be, but okay, whatever makes you feel better." With a wax tip.
The following day, Brody watches a beach from an observation tower and causes a panic after mistaking a school of bluefish for a shark and shooting at it. Crazy old Chief Brody.
I'm not even gonna lie to you, I had to look away from the TV because I was like, "Yo, even I can tell from here that that's a school of fish."
Yeah.
And I'm embarrassed for you. I cannot watch you embarrass yourself. I had to take off my headset. I was like, "I gotta look away because it's embarrassing."
Yeah, and I will say this, I understand why the mayor and that developer guy were a little pissed, like, having your loony sheriff scream and ringing the bell and start blasting his gun on
Oh, no,
the beach.
100%. Also, can we talk about the developer guy, Len Peterson? He
Uh,
played for many, many, many years. Stefano Demira on
oh,
Days of Our Lives. I just want to share that. Go on.
I didn't notice that. However, his fears are confirmed when photos from the diver's camera are processed and one of them shows a close up of the shark. When he
Mhm.
presents it to the Amity Town Council, they refuse to believe it is a shark and vote Brody out as police chief. Going back a bit, the kids hanging out, was that a regular bar or like a kids hangout?
That is a regular bar, my
I
friend.
thought so. Yeah, okay.
When you live on an island
Looks
where there's
fun.
sometimes only one or two bars, they're classified as restaurants
Ah,
because they
okay.
have like burgers and fries and like wings and stuff and
That's right.
nachos. So then everybody just goes to that one place.
Yeah, they had pinball and darts and
Yeah.
everyone was smoking. I wanted to hang out there. Looked fun. Sailing, hanging out on the beach during the day, going to the bar at night. 70s was great, except for the rampant shark attacks.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
puts a little bit of a damper on it, but I mean
Yeah.
just a tiny bit.
The next morning, Mike disobeys his father's orders by going sailing with his friends, taking his 10-year-old younger brother Sean with him.
Mhm.
Right. The chief gets drunk, not at the local bar with the kids, and I don't know where he was, but then he passes out. So they're going to the dock. Marge, another teen, takes Sean with her, and they head out on six separate boats, going past a team of divers led by instructor Tom Andrews. Can I also
Mhm.
point out? I know they're teens, but not one of these geniuses has a radio. Like you're
Um
going out on the ocean, dude. The fuck?
this is something that's always driven me nuts cuz at this point you don't need the wind in order to propel your boat forward. It's perfectly normal for a sailboat to have a little like propeller engine on it
Yeah,
in case of emergencies
yeah.
because you're going into the ocean. This is not a lake. This is
No,
not the river. This is the Atlantic Ocean where people die. But all of these kids are just like, "Safety?
yeah,
What is this bullshit you speak of? Let me take my catamaran out."
yeah. The one guy had a blow up pontoon boat.
Yes!
I mean, dude, that's the ocean. Ah,
But anyways, that was my one. I was like, "Why do none of these kids have a motor?" Like, none
yeah,
of them.
no. Moments after submerging, Andrew encounters the shark. Panicking, he rushes to the surface, causing an embolism.
Mhm.
Soon after, the shark hits the boat of teenage couple Eddie Marchand and Tina Wilcox, the one of the screaming girls. She was the beauty queen, right?
Mm.
Yeah, who have strayed away from the others. Eddie was going to get his humping on the high seas badge.
Yes, which I
Yeah,
thought was also super unsafe. You're in the middle of the ocean and you're all like, "Let's get some privacy."
yeah.
Sir, let's not.
And that was a small boat.
So
Eddie
small.
falls into the water and is mauled to death. Is that
I'm
the
okay with
technical
it.
term? Do sharks
I
maul
don't
you?
I don't think you
Like tigers and bears maul you, but do sharks maul you?
I don't know if it's mauling, to be perfectly honest. Chewed on? He was chewed on.
Yeah. And that was actually pretty good. That shark attack wasn't bad.
Yes. I enjoyed that shark attack.
Yeah. Brody and his wife, Ellen, witness Tom's evacuation by ambulance and hears that the other divers suspect something scared him. Can we also point out before they arrived that they left their home and got in the truck and a mountain of beer cans beside the driver's side of the sheriff's door?
Yeah.
70s.
Well, my thing I don't know why I thought of this, but as I'm watching it, I'm like, "Why does he still have the police car? He should not be using that
No.
truck." They should have taken away from him last night when, they fired him.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Just
He
letting people drive official vehicles?
he didn't give a shit. He was drunk.
Mm,
Deputy Jeff Hendricks, who was taken over as Brody's replacement, tells them that Mike went sailing with his friends. So Brody and Ellen commandeer the police boat, aided by a reluctant Hendricks to rescue them. They come across Tina's boat and find her hiding in the bow. She confirms the shark's presence. Brody hails a passing boat to take Hendricks, Ellen, and Tina to shore, where the truth is revealed while he goes searching for the kids. He also asked the direction of the lighthouse. How
uh-huh,
long have you been working there, dude? Like, what the fuck?
uh-huh.
He
And
should
it's a
know where
place
the
that your kid hangs out constantly.
yeah, he should know where the lighthouse is.
I was like, "Why have you never looked at a map of the area you're living in?" Like, never?
Yeah, yeah.
But I will give props to Anne Dusenberry, who played Tina Wilcox. She did hysterical and, like, traumatized exceptionally well. I was
Yeah,
like,
she
"I
did.
believe this. I believe that you watched your boyfriend get chomped on by a shark.
Yeah.
I believe it."
Yeah, she did do a good job. So he gets the deputy to point in the direction. Yeah. It doesn't bode well for a town when the chief of police doesn't know major landmarks.
Or
Um,
coordinates.
yeah.
He's giving him longitude and latitude, and he's like, "Point." And I was like, "Are you for reals?"
Yeah, just point in the direction, dude. We'll go
Jesus.
on that and dumb luck. If I come across one. Like, he does know how vast and open the sea is, right?
Yeah, no,
Actually,
just
I
go in
don't
the
think he does know.
uh,
Anyways, meanwhile, the shark attacks the group, striking one of their boats and causing most of them to capsize or crash into each other. Mike is knocked unconscious and falls in the water. The only pair whose boat is still seaworthy retrieve Mike and leave the others to take him ashore to get help. I would have been like, I'm coming too.
well, I mean, if they could do that without the entire boat sinking, I'm sure they would have. However,
Oh, I don't
they're
care
in
about anyone else.
they're in dinghies. They're
Yeah.
all in dinghies. So unless everybody drowns,
Yeah, they'd be
everybody
like,
else
what
just
about
has to hang out on their catamarans.
what was I saying? Oh yeah, fuck the women and the children. That's where we were. I'd be on the boat.
Yeah. Yeah,
Also,
on the Titanic, you'd be the first one to the
yeah,
lifeboats.
I'd be that what was his name?
I don't know.
Billy Zane character
Oh god, I hated him.
where he just grabs some kid and says it's his dad.
Yeah. It's terrible.
Okay, so we have a little bit of trivia. While they were filming this, that
Yes.
one of the scenes where they made the raft of all the crashed things, one day they were doing far away shots, and Sean, the young kid, he was 10 at the time. He were in an interview. He said that a hammerhead had actually started circling the raft,
Uh-huh.
and all the kids were freaking out and screaming and calling for help. The filmmakers just thought they were in character because that's what they were
Jesus.
supposed to be doing. And they were like, they were giving them the thumbs up, like, good job. I'm like, that's awesome.
That's fantastic.
Could you imagine? You're just screaming for help, and they're like, hey, good job, buddy.
Oh, I would have started saying some things at that point.
Sean and the others remain adrift upon the wreckage of tangled boats. A Coast Guard Marine helicopter that Brody contacted arrives to tow them to shore.
Mm,
I hope that beard style never comes back.
no.
Jesus Christ. I don't know what Mormon group he belonged to.
Actually, usually it's Amish.
Amish. I meant Amish.
It's
Sorry,
okay,
Mormons.
Amish, Mormon, Mennonite. We know they're not all the same.
No, but that was a horrible beard.
It's terrible.
But I did love the little helicopter.
The helicopter was adorable. The minute that helicopter landed on the water, I was like, "You're gonna crash and die, 100%."
And the shark latches onto the chopper's pontoons, capsizing and drowning the pilot. That shark
Yep,
attack was pretty cool. If not very believable.
it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh no, not at all. Because I was like, what is breaking the propellers of because pieces of the propellers were flying at the kids and at their sailboats. I was like,
Ripping through
what
the
is breaking
sails and
it? The
stuff. Yeah.
water's not gonna be that hard for them. I was like, that's not gonna happen. Although I will say this, at least the shark waited until the helicopter pilot attached the tow line from the
Yeah.
little
Like he's
collection
under
of
watching.
boats to the helicopter. Yeah, and he was like, "Oh, they're tied up now.
Got
Let's
him.
crush their dreams." Yeah,
It's like
I
his
appreciate
fin
that.
was giving them the finger as he's doing it. Yeah, you thought you're gonna get away, didn't you? The shark knocks Sean into the water, and Marge sacrifices herself to save him. Oh, after, yeah, the shark started again. Take a minute to remember good old Marge, a better man than me. I would have been like, fuck that little kid. I'd be that guy in a horror movie.
Of course you would.
Yeah, I like when they're trying to get Sean to grab that rope, and Andy, the curly haired guy, is like,
Yeah.
grab onto that rope, Sean, or I'm gonna kick your ass.
Yeah.
That's my whole approach to parenting, screaming with threats of violence.
That explains so much.
Yeah, I swear to God, I kick some serious ass if someone doesn't pick up these socks off the stairs. Always fucking socks. And they're not mine. They're not mine. They're magical socks that fucking appear. I throw
Well,
them out.
yeah.
I'm like,
Oh,
oh, I
they
guess
come
they're
back.
nobody's. And then a week later, they're like, I got no socks. Kids. Brody finds Mike, who informs him of the situation before Brody sends him to safety. Brody finds the others at Cable Junction, a small island housing an electrical relay station that supplies power to Amity. The
Yes.
cheering and jumping that greet him attract the shark, which attacks again, causing Brody to maroon the police boat. Yeah, he almost looked like he changing his mind, and he's just throttling the boat out of
Yeah.
like he's like about to take off. Then he tries pulling them in with a winch, but instead hooks an underwater power cable. The shark hits the boat wreckage, sending most of the teenagers into the water. They swim to the edge of the Cable Junction. Jackie Peters, Mike's love interest, the Scream Queen,
Mhm.
like she screamed a lot, and you can't blame her. I would have too.
I don't think I would have. No, she got a little crazy there towards the end.
Yeah. And Sean remained on the boats. Using an inflatable raft, Brody taps the power cable with an oar to lure the shark towards him. The shark bites the cable and is electrocuted. Brody retrieves Sean and Jackie, and they join the others on Cable Junction to await rescue. Yeah.
I want to live on that table or the Cable Junction, Power Junction Islands.
You want to live there?
I want to live there by myself.
Oh, just, yeah.
Just me on that rocky little island. At least I have electricity. This
Yeah.
is all that matters to me. I can flush a toilet. We'll have a septic system. It'll be fine.
Some Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now I can get. I was thinking about that. I was like, it's the late 70s. Do we really have giant cables for the electricity running under the water
I
from the
guess so.
mainland to an island?
Yeah, I guess so.
No, this is something I'm gonna look up later. But yeah, that was weird. But I was like, I appreciate you.
Yeah. Well, some of the other things was that, oh, now it popped up. The hammerhead shark. You bastard. Roy Scheider didn't want to originally want to appear in this film, but had recently left the production of The Deer Hunter. I did not know
Oh,
that,
I did
which
not know that.
which led to conflicts with Universal Pictures, with whom he was locked into a multi-film contract. The studio agreed to forgive his leaving The Deer Hunter if he did this film, which they would count as the 2 remaining films of his contract with them. Scheider agreed to the terms, but was resentful of his involvement from the onset and clashed frequently with the director. Yeah, he did not want to do this movie
Interesting.
at all. But he did also say in an interview that he still gave it his best.
Well, yeah. He was just probably super cranky on set.
Yeah, he didn't, and Richard Dreyfuss would have done it if Steven Spielberg came back to direct it. And yeah, he didn't. Would have been.
So everybody just got subpar shark.
Yep. So what's your score?
I'm gonna give it a 4.8.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like it, eh?
Well, because here's the thing. It was bordering on watchable, fun, light, no worries. Super close to that. But I found while I was watching it, like, my mind drifting. I was a little more distracted. You know, there were times I rolled my eyes because I was like, God, really, guys? Because the cheese wasn't good cheese. It was stinky cheese.
Yeah.
So I was like, you're close to just like, it's fun to watch every once in a while. But not quite. And it was like inching into awful.
All right. I put the story was okay, the acting was good to okay, but the shark was dated. I don't know why, but it looks worse than the original Jaws shark. The story is a little ridiculous, which is okay. It was just lacking in a few spots. The fun factor wasn't as high as I remember either. There wasn't anything overly bad about the movie, but there wasn't anything overly great about it either. The acting, again, was okay. The writing was okay. The direction was okay. The effects were not great all the time, and you can forgive it coming up on 50 years old. I hate comparing it to the first one, but it's hard not to. The first movie's purely story driven with
Yeah.
a full reveal done late in the movie. This movie tries for more all the time, and it hasn't dated the best. Will I watch it again? Probably, but it won't be anytime soon. And just because I thought it was just okay doesn't mean it wasn't fun to watch, but it was like I mean it was kind of fun to watch, but like kind of what you said, it didn't keep my attention completely. I give it a
Yeah.
5.
Okay. Look at us agreeing.
Yeah.
So weird. This was honestly, this one kind of, I don't want to say it upset me, but it disappointed me. Because I was like, I really thought I was going to like it more. I thought it was going to be more suspenseful than it was. Because I remember feeling like this movie was very suspenseful when I was younger.
Yeah.
And it just ended up being really a bunch of overacting actors with a very, very thin plot and a shitty animatronic shark.
Yeah. I see why Spielberg used it
Yeah.
sparingly. It was the right thing to do, and he
Yeah.
made it was a superior movie. But why I liked it originally, easy. Back in the 80s and even 90s, there were not a lot of shark movies.
True story.
And these were still pretty good as far as effects went back in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah. No, it's not necessarily a bad movie, like unwatchable bad, but it's not necessarily something that you would watch on its own. Like nobody's sitting there going, Jaws 2. Feeling like Jaws 2. You might do a
Yeah.
Jaws marathon
Yeah.
and watch as it gets more and more ridiculous as the various installments play, but you wouldn't ever say Jaws 2. It's a Jaws 2 day.
Yeah, it doesn't deter me from thinking that we should do Jaws 3 and Jaws 4 eventually, because I know they get worse, but that could be a
Yeah.
good thing. It might
Um,
not be, though.
if you're gonna start getting worse, then you just have to run right into it, and
Yeah,
that's my firm belief.
embrace
You
it.
have to embrace the terribleness and celebrate it in that filmmaking.
So someone liked it back then, should they rent it or stream it?
Stream it.
Yeah. You'll still
Yeah,
find a few amusing scenes and dig the nostalgia, but
yeah.
yeah,
I do wanna point out, though, that there were fat people on the beach.
there's always fat people on the beach.
No, no, no. No, there's not. They focused on a lot of fat people. It's not just like, "Oh, fat
Oh,
people." It's, "We're gonna focus on this fat person." And I was like, "Oh, we're really doing that. Okay, thanks." But go on.
if you've never seen it, uh
You have to.
I would, yeah, like, but with shark movies available, the shark movies that are available today, there's not a lot this movie can offer you. Like, if you're curious or if you're into shark movies, yeah. But again, stream it.
I'm a firm believer, if you're gonna watch Jaws, watch all of the
All of them.
Jaws
Yeah.
because 'cause they're all out now. Now, if you went to the movie theater in 1975, watched Jaws, and then never watched Jaws 2, don't watch it now.
No,
S
yeah,
Stay
that's
with the memory of Jaws in your head.
and if you didn't like it then, guess what? It'll only
It's
be
worse
worse.
now.
Yeah. Could it be rebooted or reimagined today?
Yes,
Yes.
100% yes. I think we could totally reboot, reimagine, reconfigure the entire Jaws franchise.
Yeah. I think you get this type of story with kids being trapped out on boats and great white shark
100%.
with the effects now and some good
Oh,
acting and directing, it could be an amazing movie.
it
Right? A
would be
really
so good.
amazing movie. Yeah.
I would love it if they either rebooted or they did kind of a reinvention of it where it's, 50 years later, same beach,
Yeah.
a whole new like town council, mayor, whatever, Nobody related to the OGs.
No, just maybe some when they're looking up some history
Yeah.
or something.
And then you have like elderly Mike,
Yeah.
who like lives in a small cottage on the beach. And he
Crazy.
tells you the story. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, why does he just like
There's a
sit in his
shark in the
window and
water.
share? He sits in his window staring at the ocean with
Yeah.
from through binoculars. What's wrong with the man? Crazy Mike.
Yeah. Crazy
I
Mike.
that's what there you go. Thank you. You're welcome, Hollywood. Go forth. Write the script.
All right. So a 4 was it 4.8?
I gave it a 4.8.
4.8 and a 5. Yeah. So yeah,
Guys,
give it a shot if you dare.
we should really find better movies. Or movies that hold up better. We're gonna
Yeah.
have to work on that. I
Bet you,
remember Jaws 2 being good.
bet you Jaws 1 holds up.
I bet it does. It's been a long time since I've watched it though.
Yeah. All right. Till next time.
All right.
Congratulations. You just had one of your childhood movie memories vindicated. Or they just eviscerated it. I don't know. This is a generic one-size-fits-all type of ending to the podcast. So thank you for listening, and please join Anna and Jimmy next time for another episode of the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. If you dare to go back and watch that movie you remember liking,